question I'm asked a lot is, how do you set up your space for foster kittens? So in this video, I will be talking about setting up your home base for kittens of all different ages, and I'll be answering some of your top questions about how to set up their areas properly. So the first thing I'll say is, yes, you do have room to foster kittens. A lot of people say that they want to wait until they have more space so that they can foster. But whether you live in a 6-bedroom house or a studio apartment, I promise you, you have room to foster kittens. So you don't just want to bring home a foster kitten and let them loose all over your house. You want them to have a dedicated space. The good news is, kittens don't take up much space. Have you seen a kitten? They're not very big. An appropriate space for kittens is going to be safe, confined, and free of spaces that the kitten can get stuck, climate controlled, soft and warm, protected from hazards such as small objects, cords, or other animals, and able to be cleaned daily and sanitized in between litters. So here's how you set up your space, starting with kittens 0 to 3 weeks old. A top opening carrier, bin, or box, a soft baby blanket, a heat source, such as a snuggle safe, and you might want to include a cuddle companion, like a little stuffed animal. Kittens 2 weeks old and under will be very small, very vulnerable, and will sleep about 23 hours a day. I personally like to use a plastic tub because it's easy to clean, sanitize, and look through, and they're so small that they can't get out of the top of it. You can also use a top opening kennel. This is a better option than using a front-facing kennel because you can easily see down to the kittens. You really don't want to use something with bars on the front because these kittens are so small that they can get stuck. Or you might opt for a soft carrier. This is nice because it's portable and it's safe for your babies. I typically use a soft carrier when I'm on the go with my kittens and a plastic tub when I'm at home. One more optional thing you can add is a comfort source, like a stuffed animal, or even better, a snuggle kitty. The snuggle kitty is a surrogate mama that has a battery-operated heartbeat inside. You just put 2 AA batteries inside, turn it on, stick it back inside the mama, and you'll get a nice, comforting heartbeat. Kittens are really drawn to this, especially the solo babies, because they're looking for that comfort from their mama. So this is a great thing you can add, or if you don't have access to a snuggle kitty, you can always just include a nice little soft stuffed animal for them. Hot tip, sometimes the snuggle kitties aren't available, but you can find snuggle puppies. The kittens don't really know the difference, so I use snuggle kitties and snuggle puppies. So as you can see, kittens 3 weeks and younger really don't need much space. Their whole world is easy to keep right on top of your coffee table, under your desk at work, or even next to your bed. It's mostly a little place for them to incubate and sleep in between feedings. So I promise you, you have room for these little guys. Now let's talk about what it takes to set up a space for kittens 3 weeks and older. Once kittens reach 2.5 to 3 weeks old, they're starting to spend more time awake, their vision is improving, and they're becoming more curious about the world around them. This is a great time to upgrade your kitten to a playpen. I recommend getting a soft-sided playpen with a zip top. These things are awesome because they're safe, they're confined, and they're easy to sanitize. They also fold up easily so you can take them with you to work or to visit a friend or family member for the weekend. Inside the playpen, you'll still want some soft blankets, a heat source, and perhaps your comfort source. But as the kittens get older, you'll also want to start including some other things. You'll want a shallow litter box filled with a kitten-safe litter. Choose something that is non-clumping and unscented. Once the kittens are weaning, you'll start including some shallow food and water dishes into the playpen. There are lots of other things you could consider including, such as toys, a comfy hideaway, or a soft bed. It's really up to you. Just make sure that everything is kitten safe and that they have all the essentials. That's it. It's totally possible for you to raise your kittens all the way to 8 weeks old using your Playpen. Now, if you do have a separate room to foster kittens in, the first thing you want to think about is kitten proofing. If the kittens are in their own room, make sure that it's safe for them. You want the room to be free of things like toxic plants, small objects, cords, strings on blinds, places the kitten can get stuck, and tall furniture where they might climb up and fall down. Kittens are super curious and they can get into all sorts of stuff, so you want their space to be as simple as possible. Just the essentials, things that they need, things that are safe for them, and of course, a shallow litter box and food. Now there are a lot of things you can choose to add to your kitten room, things like a small bed, small climbing structures, or even scratch posts. Just make sure that they always have easy access to a litter box at all times and that everything can be sanitized. And that's the other main thing that you want to think about if you are going to have a separate room for fostering kittens. You do want to make sure that it's something that is easy to clean. When you bring home kittens, you'll be bringing home an animal with an unknown health history. And that means you don't want them shedding any illness in an area that's difficult to sanitize. In general, you want to avoid porous surfaces such as carpets, which can retain certain viruses or parasites and are a bit harder to clean. Okay, now let's talk about some common questions. A big question I get is, what about my personal pets? I have 3 cats of my own at home, and I can tell you from personal experience that it is safe and easy to foster while having your own cats. But you do want to take some precautions. My recommendation is that you keep your foster kittens separate from your cats, such that they are not coming into contact with feces or saliva from one another. This is pretty easy to do if you follow the protocol of keeping your kittens separate in a playpen or in a separate room. At a bare minimum, a 2-week quarantine is required. This is so that you can monitor the kitten for signs of illness and treat them for any parasites that they might have. After the mandatory 2-week quarantine, it's up to you, but I do still recommend keeping them separate. Most of your foster kittens are not going to be with you for more than a couple weeks. So most of the time, it's really just not worth it for you to go through the hassle of introductions with your personal pets. Keeping them separate in a playpen or a bedroom is always your best bet. If you do want to introduce your foster kittens to your pets, never ever stray from that 2-week quarantine rule. And of course, just make sure that your personal pets are up to date on vaccines. You should be doing that anyway, but if you're bringing in kittens, it's always a good idea just to check your records and make sure that your cats are up to date on their FVRCP vaccine and that they're nice and healthy. The other big question I get is, how do you sanitize your space? One nice thing about keeping your kittens contained is it is easier to sanitize your space when it's a small space. So first of all, remember that cleaning and sanitizing are not the same thing. Cleaning is when you make things feel and look and smell fresh. But sanitizing is when you disinfect it completely. So while you do want to clean every day, you want to be sanitizing in between litters and any time that there's illness. Make sure the product you're using is a disinfectant. Bleach at a ratio of 1 to 32 is the most affordable and common household disinfectant, and it can absolutely be used with your kitten supplies. But with bleach, you want to make sure that you're thoroughly rinsing everything with water after you use it. My personal favorite disinfectant is a product called Rescue. It's an accelerated hydrogen peroxide disinfectant, and I like using it because it kills everything I might need it to kill, and it's really safe and gentle. So you can just spray down your supplies, leave it on for about 10 minutes, wipe it down, and you're good to go. For soft stuff like stuffed animals, washing in the washing machine with hot water and bleach will work just fine. Like I said, you don't need to sanitize all the time, but certainly when you're dealing with a serious illness and always in between litters. It's not tough to do and it keeps everybody safe. And the final question is, where do you get all this stuff? That's easy to do. I've made a page on my website that's dedicated to giving you links to all of the supplies that you might need, including all of my favorite things that I use at home. You can visit kittenlady.org/supplies for easy links to everything that I use. But if you're worried about the expense of buying your own supplies, don't worry. There's a lot of things that you can do. First of all, ask your foster programs what supplies they can give you. A lot of shelters and rescue groups will give you all or some of the supplies that you might need. Since so many of the supplies you're gonna need are baby supplies, the things like stuffed animals and baby blankets are really easy to come by secondhand. Of course, an easy way to get the supplies that you need is to create an Amazon wish list. You can share it online with your friends or family or coworkers, and you'll be surprised how many people are willing to help out, especially when they know they're going to get lots of cute kitten photos in return. And finally, my favorite thing is a kitten shower. Just like a baby shower gives baby supplies to new parents, a kitten shower gives kitten supplies to new foster parents. And who doesn't want to go to a kitten shower? Just make a list of all of the things that you need, invite your friends to come over to your house, and you'd be surprised how many people will support you. Once the people in your life know that you're saving kittens' lives, so many of them are going to support you in your efforts and help you along the way. So that's it. Now you know how to set up your space for foster kittens. Whether you're fostering teeny tiny kittens or older kittens who are almost ready for adoption, now you know what they need to keep them safe, comfy, and healthy. Pumpkin, don't chew that, baby. I love you. Don't chew that.